visioning process with the community. You guys worked on it very hard, which we were very thankful for. And so those goals up there on the screen, A, B, C, there's 12 of those, okay? So those are going to be the basis of how we do this strategic plan. To the left, in 2009, I don't know who was still on the board, we had somebody come in and really did remarkable work here in town and came up with some concepts. And you can, the proposed mission right there in the middle is new, but in 2009 we had a high level vision, we had a 2009 purpose, and then down below at the bottom, you can barely see it, but it says 2009 mission. Well, we think that's confusing, right? So we think that we should just have a proposed mission that really is the board's mission, and then it feeds into the community's 12 vision plans, vision statements. So that's what we are recommending. We are not asking y'all to adopt it tonight. You're welcome to adopt it tonight, but our intern's only going to be here for probably another 8 weeks. We want to get moving on an internal strategic plan. So I want to bring that, lift that to y'all's attention. If you're comfortable with the proposed mission, that's fantastic. If you keep moving to the right, you'll see the values. We want to make sure those values are consistent and are pushed through the organization. And then below that are something called the keys, service excellence keys. Everybody, all staff has this on their cards. There's 9 of them. As the police chief said also well in a department meeting, who can remember the 9 keys? Nobody can remember the 9 keys because we got too many of them. So we want to work on that, make it more concise. We had a training exercise with Chick-fil-A, I don't know, probably about 6 months ago. They have 4, you know, they do a great job with customer service. So I wanted to set that up with the board, and then I wanted to turn it over to Tom to talk about the other steps that we want to go through.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. As Hazen said, this is an internal document, so what we've done with the visions that the board adopted back in February is we've now made those our goals. And so these are just what we're going to do. As you'll see over here, when we finish the document, is we're going to have strategies developed through focus groups throughout the organization. And we're going to achieve these goals straight across the line, A to A, B to B, and so on and so forth for all 12 visions. With keeping in mind the values the board has set forward and the revised keys once we've worked on that. That way we have the mindset that the board's already, for the values, the board has already presupposed that we need to have for the town of Matthews going into the strategies we wanted to set up these goals. And the manager covered it pretty well. I can entertain any questions.
Any questions for Tom? Mr. Melton.
Just point of clarification, manager's looking for our consensus to keep moving forward with this.
Yeah, great question. So I think one of the keys here is we don't want to get ahead of the board, right? That's always a concern, getting ahead of the board. But we did want to tell you guys what we were planning on doing. This is an internal document. The key question, I think, is the proposed mission. Do you like that wording? Do you guys want to give us any direction? Do you want to think about it? What we could do is just think about it, and we can bring it back in 2 weeks, and y'all could talk about it then.
Think about it.
Mr. Higdon.
I just have one comment on the wording of the mission. I understand the meaning, but it says live, work, play, or grow a business. Like those things are mutually exclusive. Like you can either live or work or play or grow a business. So maybe it should, I don't know. I know people don't like to say and or, but
Yeah, that's good advice.
maybe somebody wants to do all 4 of those things, right? So.
Yep. Mr. Miller.
Thank you. Hazen, and Tom, I like the way it feeds into the next category, reminding us of different goals and qualities we should maintain. I'll review the proposed mission and provide feedback over the next couple days. One thing I wanted to share on the service excellence keys, which are all very good. I've worked a little bit on the side with those in maybe rearranging the sequence of those, and I'll share them with you in your office one day later this week or next week.
Okay. I see us paring those down to something we can easily remember, identifiable, everybody knows it, and makes it simpler.
Yeah, just
Wait a minute, Mr. Bent.
I just want to, maybe we think about the proposed mission, because we've got one sentence and it needs to say exactly what we want it to say with complete clarity. And when it says to provide a responsive governance, do we really want to just respond to people? I'm not sure that that's what we need to do. I think, maybe it's responsible but that one word to me does not give you the oomph that our citizens need as our goal. I don't know how others feel, but that seems that one word to me makes a big difference. Because you can respond in a way that the citizens don't want you to respond, as long as you're responsive. But I would think we want to have a responsible governance, an excellent one. Maybe that's a premier one. I think there are other words that are more descriptive to what we really want for a mission.
Mr. Higdon.
Yeah, just to comment, we've done these kind of exercises, and I've done them here and in other organizations, and I think it's real easy on the strategy side to get into some real flowery, fluffy language and have 80-word sentences, and you read it and go, what the heck is this, So I would just urge you to try to keep it as simple as possible, because if you just keep adding on to these sentences, that you read them and they're almost laughable sometimes. Some of the organizations I've been in, not with Matthews necessarily, but keep it as simple as possible would be my advice, and try to avoid those really run-on sentences.
We want to keep them action-oriented.
Right,
Keep them
right.
action-oriented.
There you go.
I would completely agree.
Yeah, you actually want to be able to look at it in 2 weeks and not laugh at it.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Okay, any other comments?
No, sir.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Mr. Manager. All right, next item is the mayor's report. I don't have a report. Attorney's report.
No report, Mayor.
Town manager's report.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, the only thing I'd report, the mayor and I were planning on going to Raleigh tomorrow to meet with our legislative delegation. We just got word this evening in the middle of the meeting that one of our delegation is indisposed, so we're going to reschedule that.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Yes, sir.